sure you're listening to each other and hearing, and you know, if there's 3 or 4 that are coming up with ideas at the same time, you say, okay, one at a time, let's get your idea out over here. Would you get it captured over here? And then I let my arm remember for me. Kathy, what was your idea over there? And then come back, and you're gonna be digging back and forth on it. You will never background enough. So we found if you can nail down 10 to 15 critical, pivotal pieces, of which market is always one of them. Target audience, what existing data do you have, like of flow and usage and those kind of things, and can you visualize that? So you could take a ream of data and put it into a couple graphs and charts is really helpful because it becomes a constant reference. Typically what happens after the first time through on this, people say, I could have given more background. But the flip side of it is, you had a lot to start out with, and for a first time, this was excellent. I want to challenge you right now to something that, accept me as a coach, okay? Nothing I do is harsh, but there are some things up there that are not action ideas. And there's a test you want to apply. And that is, can it meet these 3 criteria? Can you assign it to somebody and can they do something with it? Secondly, can you make a prototype or a model or a test out of it? And thirdly, can you apply low, medium, or high cost to it? That's a cheap idea, that's pretty expensive, that's real expensive. It doesn't have to be more than that. But you're not evaluating, is it an idea that has merit or not? What you're evaluating is it formulated enough that you can do something with it? So I'd like you to look at some of the things up there, disengage where they came from, and really challenge it.
Offer weekday promotions.
Where's that?
Right there.
Okay. Can you run and do that?
I think it's, I'm not sure what it would be if it's maybe too vague.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what, if there's something.
3 words. 3 words. It's hard. Could you put together a Massage Monday package targeted at people who live within 10 miles? Hear that? That you can assign, you can prototype it. You could run it on a Monday for 5 people and see what it works. Is that low, medium, or high cost?
Depends.
Yeah, depends, medium, okay. You see the difference with putting that extra flesh on the bones?
Jerry, though, the question, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's a very valid point that the more information, the more specific and detailed it is, it lends itself to greater action and greater execution. But if you spend too much time on the, and again, in the free-form thinking, to get real specific on those ideas, are you reducing the creativity and reducing the ideas, and would that make more sense that we put the dots on those, and then we pick out our 10, and that's when we really flesh them out and then make them much more action items? Would that, you follow what I'm saying? Or
Absolutely.
Because I'm worried that if we got too specific, too early, and too...
Think of what 3 or 4 more words would do to this.
Okay.
Not 20, not micro detailing it, and you don't have the group go through this, but what the difference, this is brainstorming without the verb. Weekday packages. Isn't that how most brainstorming goes on? Weekday things. And then you get all done, you say, what's that mean? Then you come back, well, we'll do weekday packages. What's that mean? As opposed to, we'll target people within 10 miles on Massage Mondays between 3 and 7 o'clock. And it takes a few seconds extra on the spot at the moment, and you don't have all this afterwards. And what'll go on later on is it won't get the dots because it doesn't capture the uniqueness. This right now is a header, and all you need to do is ways to do weekday packages. It's not an action idea in compression planning terms.
Thinking, Jerry, that we better be prepared to use a third printer
Absolutely.
because when things get real hectic, there's a tendency in the part. I've been a printer, and there's a tendency you want to be ready for the next idea, and so you subconsciously shorten the description of the idea that you're working on at that moment in time because you're so worried about missing the next one.
Right.
Then what you do is you slow the session down.
The facilitator does?
Absolutely.
Or the
You
printer?
slow it down and say, let's make sure we catch this. Are we getting this? Do we have it? Are we getting this? Take the typical meeting and how much is lost. Now, we don't capture 100%, but it's quantum, wouldn't you agree it's quantum leap? I mean, what would a discussion like this be back on the home front about this? I mean, you've got 98% captured. And as you refine it more, printing is a skill. Diane and Pat are master printers. You ought to watch them. You saw them, right?
That's fast.
Because they
Very
listen,
accurate.
they nail the essence, and they get it there. And they use a standard, get 8 to 10 words in there. Don't be lazy, don't be sloppy, any of that kind of stuff. And slow it down and take control.
Then the next thing we do is start assigning tasks related to each one of.
I'd stop right here. You comfortable?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You can't do all of that right away.
Right.
It helps to spread these a little bit. We've been focusing so far. Now we're going to focus further. And we're going to make this box smaller. Remember, where's the driving down here? Now let's go tighter. If you only did 2 or 3 things, what would you do?
From this point on?
Now, do we,
In the next, next month or 2.
do we as the group participate in that, or is that Jason?
Well, he owns it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's his baby.
I think the education is probably the most significant because you can't do all the other stuff without buy-in.
And if you